In last class, we have discussed about several elements of HTML5. Okay. Next, we have the structure of HTML5 semantic structure elements. How you are going to define the header and footer. Previously, hope you remember when general HTML5 when we are going to use, we have to give HTML head, title, body tag. But when you are going to define header and footer in HTML5, then we are going to use header. Inside the header, you will be having navigation. That navigation means it's a menu bar. Okay. And then followed with you have to close the header. Similarly, you have to close the navigation. If you want to use the footer, directly you can give the footer opening and closing. It will take footer. Like this way, you can define the HTML5 semantic element. You have another example here. You can see here, I'm just defining header and footer into any page. Okay. You can see here, I've used header. Inside the header, I am using image. That is the logo I'm using for this. Then I am writing a heading 1 tag. That is the fundamental of web development. Close the h1 tag. Close the, and whatever you want remaining things you can define in this, and close the header. Now if you want any article, you can define the article. Next, again, if you want, like here you have to close the header actually, or you can define multiple headers also in the elements. Both way you can do that. You can see here, there is one header. I'm starting another article. Inside that, again, another header is there. Like this way also you can define. So what is a header element? So a header element is intended to usually contain here section of h1 to h6 element, but this is not required. Okay. The header element also can be wrap a section, table of contents, a search form, or any relevant logo. So inside the header element, you can add some table of content. That means you can create the forms, you can create the paragraph, you can add header section also, you can add some logos, whatever the relevant details you want, you can attach into the header section. Here you have the navigation section. So what is the navigation section? That is, we use generally nav element. Okay. This nav element that will be used for the navigation purpose inside the header. You have seen in previously HTML, we were creating the menu bar, home, about us, contact us, whatever so on you want. But we used to do in body tag, right? But here, what we are going to do, we are going to use this inside the header tag. I have to define header. So what is the nav element tag? The nav element tag defines a set of navigation links. That means from one page to another page, or you want to go to on the same page, you want to view the content, this you will be able to do that. For that purpose, we use nav tag, navigation. You can see here, I'm using header tag. If you want to define the logo, then use img, same way, source, and give alternative. So logo will be there. Then if you want to define any title, you can define the title, the font size, like heading tag. I want from h1 to h6, whichever you want, you can use. Then I'm going to use nav tag because I want home, about us, and then you are going to use browse, whatever the tag you want, link one. So hope you know that in previous class we have learned that we can use ul, that is unordered list, and in that we'll be having li tag and followed with the anchor link tag, what you are going to, and with the content, close the anchor tag, close the li tag. Similarly, how many links you want to specify, you can specify, and then close the ul tag, close the navigation tag, and finally you close the header tag. This is the navigation tag example. If you want to use the aside, what is the aside? The aside elements it will define some content, that whatever the content you want to define some, like into the aside from the content it's placed. Like you have seen some of the website, the content will be some in this section. Suppose this is your output. So I have the something here, or you will be having something like this content, right? So this is called as actually a site. So the content, what we are going to specify, the content we are placing as a sidebar. So that is called as aside. The aside content should be related to surrounding the content. That means whatever the content you are going to define. Here you have example. You can see I'm just defining a paragraph tag. In that I'm using just a content, that is Bengaluru. Then I'm giving a side tag. So it will define in the side. I'm going to define garden city. I'm going to define Bangalore is city of Karnataka. Whatever you want, it is a Silkan city. Close the paragraph tag. Close the aside tag. Then like that way you can define the aside tag in HTML5 pages. Next, you have other different element, that is the main, article and section. What is the main? Hope you know that already we have used. Is the main is meant to contain the main unique content of the document. How we have used, the same way it is there. The main will provide, that means main tag will provide a semantic replacement of markup. That means when you are going to use something like division id is equal to main, or you are going to define division id is equal to main content, like this way. Next you have about the section. So section is a much broader element. While you are going to use the article, this element will define the block of contents. So as I mentioned that the section, whatever, even the sidebar, what you are defining like this is also a section. In section, you are going to define, this is the called as aside also. Okay. And article, when you are going to define some content, you are going to write whatever the content that you are going to give the title bar, you are going to define some article, something that will comes into the article section. And next, aside, already we have seen that it's look like a sidebar. So whenever you want to define the sidebar, when you want to pull some quotes, when you want to use some advertisement image or any other grouping of non-essential element, that means sidebar, you have seen that most of the website they will use the advertisement on the sidebar or on the footer. So that that is actually a side. So that is not related to the content, it's non-essential elements of the particular website. And mostly this will be there on the any blog website or news website. If you take a look on that, there will be the sidebar with the advertisement. This is the HTML5 elements. So far we were using image tag, right? IMG. In HTML5, you have the tag called figure. Okay, you can use the figure tag, and you can define the figure caption also. So what is that tag? That means when you are going to use figure, it will define the certain details, like you can define, add the image, and you can add the caption. You can see that on the image I'm using the title like this way, caption. So as a title for the particular image, this will be attached with this image. Then in this case you have to use figure only. You cannot use as a img separately. In HTML5 it has new tag is there, HTML5 especially figure. The moment you use figure, whatever the image you have to, definitely you have to use img tag. Then you are going to define figure caption. If you want title for the particular image, I am giving a figure caption. Then it will be again similarly close that and give the close the figure, and whatever remaining paragraph you want to write, just write it. So like this way you can use figure and figure captions. You can see here the example. I have used something like girl with a pearl earring, right? Then this image, how I want, like when I click on the image, So this page will give you, the moment you click on the image, you can see here the result. I'm using image, artist, and information. Three, like a menu bar we have created. Okay, and what we have done, the moment you click on the image, it will give you the information, the details. What details will be there? Like you can see here, just body tag. I'm using heading 2 tag, that is the heading title. Then details, in details I'm going to write summary, the image. So whenever you write the summary, that means there will be some brief information. So what the brief? The moment you click on the summary, it will show the image, it will show some information. Close the details tag. The similar way, if you want another details, then another details, summary, artist, some tag. Like this way, you can define the details and summary for the any image or any content. That is your actually the details and summary tag. And there are a lot of HTML5 tags are there, like article. Just you go through this, please refer the textbook. You will get to know that the more details about all HTML5 tag, and please practice this. You can see here articles, aside, details, figure, caption, figure, footer, header, main, mark, navigation, section, summary, time. These are the HTML5 base tag. This if you use in HTML, it will not happen, but it will work now because most of the browser it support HTML5. Early days, that means if you use i6, Internet Explorer 6, if you have, you can use it. Or if you have Google Chrome, some early of 50 version to 9, now it is the 1980 plus version, you can use earlier version. Then you can see that the code whatever you will write with this, you will not get the exact output. But now most of the browser it support HTML5 tags, even including basic HTML also.